How are you tonight? Blissologist Leanna here. I'm an intuitive guide, and I help people in life, love, and sex, and I guide women to activate their sexual energy by discovering who they are as erotic beings. So today I am talking about moving from fear state into flow state. So what is fear state? Fear state is when, we get those thoughts rotating around in our heads about all of the negative reasons why we can't do something, all the negative things that move around and holding us back from actually taking the step or moving forward into something that we want to do, or something that we want to say, or something we want to reveal. We just close ourselves down from actually being able to do it because we get ourselves into a fear state. The flow state is when you are moving in your life and everything seems to go so easily and quickly and spontaneously but beautifully. You don't have to do much. You just have to focus on your present state and take your steps, knowing that it's all going to unfold easily and quickly and nicely. You don't even have to. You don't even have a place where you're knowing. You're just allowing your life to move as if you're sitting in a canoe, moving down a river, just flowing with the river. The fear state is the opposite, when you're actually flowing into the river and you're kind of paddling yourself up the stream. For me, I need some visual sense of what it means to be in the fear or the flow. And in the fear state, I see myself paddling up the river. And the flow state, I see myself without paddles, just moving down the river nice and smoothly. So, I prefer to be in the flow state. I've been really nicely in the flow state for a number of days, and it feels really, really good to move in that flow state. But I know that we're human, and that it's not unusual that we get ourselves in that fear state. Because why do we get ourselves in that fear state? Well, first of all, fears are our edges. Fears are when we hit that edge of who we are, hit that edge of how far we can go, and it's an indicator that stops us and makes us look at our life and say, hey, whoa, I don't know if I can go through there. I'm really freaking scared, and if I do that, then what are people going to think, and what am I going to do, and how am I going to do that, and what choices do I have around this? And we start to build up all of this anxiety, possibly, or it can be depression, or just inability to move forward. These are the edges, but the fears that we start to create within ourselves are not. It's not real what we're creating. It's just that we get ourselves wound up into the inability to move through that edge that we have. So, first of all, if we can look at fear like, oh, these are indicators that I have hit upon an edge of the movement of moving through my life, okay? And instead of getting to a place where the fear built up so much that you can't even move through and you're just held back from doing anything, how do you move yourself out of that fear place, that fear state, so that you can move back into the flow state? And all of us know what that flow state is. All of us know what that feels like, because when we're in that place, we just time doesn't exist. We don't have to, we're not thinking about all the negative things that could possibly happen, because things are just happening easily. We have kind of let go of controlling everything that's happening, and we're really focused on, okay, I'm just going to take these steps one step at a time, and the steps that I'm taking seem to as we have let go of trying to control it, the steps seem to be really easy, and the steps seem to open up more possibilities for us. And so we have, oh, I can take this choice, I can do that, and things seem to move really brilliantly, and we are in a state of more joy and happiness because everything is opening up. And sometimes, though, when we're in this beautiful state, it starts to feel like, how can it be so good? How can I be in such a good place right now? I mean, is this possible? You know, and we as human beings like to beat at ourselves, and it's very easy to get ourselves in, as after we've been flowing for a while, we hit an edge. Maybe we are in our canoe and we hit the shore, or we've hit a rock, and we're like, oh my God, now what? What do I do? You know, and then we are in a slightly bit of a fear state again, and we can be in that state and start to build up all of this negative thing. Well, how am I going to get myself away from this rock? How am I going to move? I'm just going to be stuck here forever. I'll never be able to do anything. I'm probably going to end up, going backwards again. Instead of building ourselves up in a sort of a negative sense, a negative way, and all the negative possibilities that can happen, one thing that you can do, and this is where I'm going to start talking about how you can get yourself from the fear state into the flow state much faster. Because sometimes we can be in that fear state and we can be stuck in there for a long time. You know, our edges are real indicators of are indicators for us as individuals, where we have hit those places of, okay, now what? How do we get ourselves moving again into that flow state? So I'm going to tell you give you one way of doing that. But I wanted to talk about the fear state, first of all, being something that doesn't actually really exist. This is something that we build up within ourselves, and we believe that it exists, but we tend to, as human beings, we tend to default to negative. This is just something that we do. We tend to default to all the negative reasons and possibilities why we can't do something. So what I'm suggesting here, in order to move from that fear into the flow state again, is to take that fear, that edge that you've hit, and absorb it into your systems, and really look at it and say, hey, I have hit my fear. I'm really intensely scared, and I'm going to take this in. And because what is this fear state? It's energy. It's all energy. Take this energy into you and say, okay, I'm going to transform this into love. I'm going to transform this into love for myself. And I can see, let me look at all the positive reasons why moving into this direction, all the positive things that could potentially happen, and all the positive outcomes that could potentially exist. So you transform it. You transform that fear into love. And when you get to a point in that transformation process, then you will feel it. You'll feel like, okay, I'm ready now. I can now move through it. I've been able to let go enough of the energy of my intensity around the fear, that I can now take that step into it. And once you're able to, you will feel again yourself in the flow state. So does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? This is something that I've been doing a lot recently, because there's been a lot of fears that have come up around. I moved to Brazil last year, and I'm dealing with new language. I'm dealing with starting up new work, new residence, new relationship, and I come up to lots of blocks and edges, my own edges, and it stops me sometimes and I think, what am I doing here? What am I doing with my life? And what's happened? And how can this be possible? And I start to like wind into all these negative reasons and negative things that I'm involved, negative possibilities that could, and then instead I'm like, okay, just stop. Let's take that fear. This is real for me. Okay, I'm going to transform it. And wow, well, what positive things could happen here? Well, it could become a really amazing experience for me. I could, depending what it is, all of the possibilities that can exist that would be beneficial, that would be great outcomes. I start to think about those. And when I get to myself back to the present moment, okay, here I am, I'm in this present moment, and I need to make that choice and that decision, and now I'm feeling better, and now I can take a step into it. So, give it a try, see how that works for you. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Get yourself, there is a way to get yourself back into that flow state. There is a way to get yourself into a place where your life is moving much more smoothly again, and more often than not. The reason, one of the big reasons why the flow state is difficult to maintain is because when you're in that flow state, you have to let go of controlling your life. And that in itself can be kind of scary, because we like to control everything, all the outcomes, all the possibilities, all the steps that we take. But it's not even possible to do that. You have to give space and room for things to come up that you would have never even been able to think about, that you would never have thought of were possible, because you can't know what outcomes are possible until you take that next step, until you take the next step. As you take these steps through your life, and if you can do it in a more of a flowing state, then the possibilities open up. You give space for possibilities that can be absolutely mind-blowing sometimes. It can be just something like, I there's been many times when I've just said, okay, I have this huge fear at this moment, and I don't know how it's going to unfold, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do to get there, but I see that I want to go over there. Here's my river. I want to get to the end of the river, and I'm here at the beginning, and I see I want to go there. And if I let go of controlling the movement towards that, then the possibilities that come up are just, there's just so much more that I can start to see again. I've given space for opening. I've given space for possibility. I've given space for options. I've given space for myself to have more perspective. So let's get ourselves into that flow state again. Let's get ourselves into a flow state. It's energy, it's movement, it's beautiful, it's just a place where, we can relax and soften our lives so much more. So I encourage you to try that little exercise. If you'd like more information, then contact me. Give this a like if you can, and of course you can. Give it a like and give a comment, and let me know if there's a technique for you that helps you move from your fear state into your flow state. Okay. Nice chatting. Much love making.